that Donald Trump has won the 2024 presidential election. His victory has sparked fears from immigrants in America, believing that they will be deported.
With 9 days until Election Day, former President Trump has stepped up his attacks on the Biden-Harris administration's record on illegal immigration and pledged that if elected, he'll conduct the largest deportation in American history.
No phone and I go like the song you missing because I know phone no guilty for the same damn thing.
I hear a lot of people say, the talk of a mass deportation is racist, it's threatening to the immigrant community. It's not threatening to the immigrant community. It should be threatening to the illegal immigrant community.
I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country. You better start packing now.
An asylum system that was meant for a small number of persecuted individuals was being used by millions to gain legal entry. Instead of shutting it down, liberals branded anyone protesting as heartless and racist. The first big error was the Biden administration's blindness to the collapse of the immigration system and the chaos at the border.
In Britain, successive British governments have also had to deal with the issue of immigration. Both Labour and the Conservatives have called for tighter controls and a limit to the amount of people that are allowed to enter the country. This culminated in the 2016 Brexit vote, where the British people voted to leave the European Union, primarily because of immigration.
Now, it is so totally out of control. Just think about this. 2.5 million people have come in the last 2 years. You wonder why you can't get a house. You wonder why your rents have gone up 25% in 4 years. You wonder why our infrastructure is struggling. You wonder why, we have to build a new house every 2 minutes just to cope with the numbers.
But is it wrong for citizens to ask for greater immigration control? Is there such a thing as too much immigration?
But I did say back in 2020 that unless we started deporting people that illegally crossed the English Channel, the numbers would simply go up. Over the course of the last 2 days, 1,100 people have crossed the English Channel.
There's going to be massive deportation of undocumented people, and the language used is like so massive that you've never seen it before. We've already seen some signs of that.
It may surprise you that not all immigration is treated equally, and not all immigrants are seen as the same. It may also surprise you that it is not always down to race.
І в перший день він почав дуже панікувати. Він плакав і питав мене весь час: мама, нас не вб'ють, чи ми будемо жити?
В нас дуже гарні є 2 ліси, в яких росли.
Ми у 2021 році купили велику квартиру, зробили там ремонт.
It's very rare that you see asylum claims from Jamaica that are successful. I will tell you the 2 areas that I see successful asylum claims, and you don't have to talk about yours, okay? One is people who are in same-sex marriages, and it's discovered that they're either in a same-sex marriage or a same-sex relationship, because and then they get death threats from from their family and friends that discover this back in Jamaica, saying, I heard you're now gay or homosexual or whatever words they use, and as a result from that, we're going to kill you or dismember you or whatever when you come home, which is what happens unfortunately in Jamaica. They're not very keen on same-sex marriages. The other thing is, sometimes you testify against some bad guys, and then they're out to get you back home. There's only 2 really general fact patterns, at least from Jamaica. Every country is different, but at least from Jamaica, where I see asylum claims that are actually have a legitimacy.
A decision of the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights found Jamaica responsible for the violation of multiple rights of both a gay man and a lesbian woman who were forced to flee Jamaica because of the severe violence that they experienced. The decision calls upon the government of Jamaica to repeal the buggery and gross indecency laws.
I know what it is to live in fear. I know what it is to live in hiding and to be ostracized. I know what it feels like to be beaten and left for dead. For the first time ever, I finally feel I am right. And hoping the Jamaican government will, for the first time, do what is right by the LGBT community. That who I am and who I love is wrong.
Unpopular opinion, I stand corrected, but I'm going to say convince me otherwise.
Haitians won their independence from France in 1804 and immediately abolished slavery, becoming the first place in the world to do so. It was also the first state to outlaw racism in its constitution. Haiti was a beacon of light for the world, and it was punished for it. It was punished over and over again by France, by the US, through a series of coups, invasions, occupations, assassinations, through relentless meddling and crushing debt. They were determined that this beacon of freedom would be extinguished because it presented a bold challenge to the dread logic of capital and empire.
There's nothing that happens after the Haitian Revolution and our fight for freedom across the Caribbean and North and South America that wasn't influenced by the Haitian Revolution.
From time to time, Haitians who are fed up with the conditions in their own country will embark on a perilous journey across the ocean. Their intention is to seek refuge and asylum in Jamaica. But when they arrive on the shores of Portland, how are they treated and greeted by the Jamaican people?
The only thing I can say right now, the Haitians, we have to have passport to go to their countries. You understand? They don't have to have passport to come to our country. You understand? So they are fighting Jamaicans. And I don't like that. Fighting Jamaicans. And I don't like that.
Haitian coming to Jamaica, well, Haitians are my family, them, you know, you hear that, and our black brother ancestors, them, you hear that, but them can deal with them more better and just keep down the crime. Just stop me and tell the Haitian, them, barbecue, Maggi, manners, and Diamond, and the whole of them, manners, you hear that, my Haitian people, them, peace out, love.
I think they would have to put themselves, we Jamaicans have to put ourselves in the Asian shoes and decide from there. What it'd be like that you have to run from a country that's filled with so much violence and coming into another country as an immigrant. I think we really have to be have more empathy and, you know, put ourselves in their position.
But you know, we got a law to live by and rules. So, on the other hand, we are human beings. So what I think we Jamaicans should do, or the government should do, because I don't have no segregation within the government system, because we all in Jamaica, our government, we have leaders. We could pull together as one. And once we pull together as one, well, we have a problem like that now, we can put it at the board, we talk about it and come up with the best solution.
Now, let's examine the response from Jamaicans on X, previously known as Twitter. Don't care if them want come for me. I say it before and I will say it again. Send them back. We can't afford it. Let the haters keep hating. It's Jamaica first for me. I hope no criminals that are a part of the rampage in Haiti are among the group. It cannot work. We cannot afford it. We have tons of Jamaicans living on the street. We don't know who they are. They haven't passed the background check. They haven't been given a health check. We don't know who is who. Colin himself said, deport them. Aurelia said, I hope those 3 dogs have their passports.
The public is responding to news of over 200 Indians without proper documentation landing on our Jamaican soil. The Indians were allowed to deboard the plane, even though it was later discovered that they did not have any returning flights scheduled. They were also allowed to stay at the Rock Hotel under police supervision. Here are some of your thoughts. At Cypher's Mind writes, send them back. We can't allow foreigners to just violate our country like that. This ain't 1356. At Honey Eagle says, if 218 Jamaicans landed in India, what them would I do to it? Exactly. Return them.
Local authorities continue their crackdown on Haitian migrants and asylum seekers. TVJ News obtained footage which shows Haitians gathering at Portland's Bound Brook Wharf last night. They were boarding a Jamaica Defense Force Coast Guard vessel for Haiti.
But not Haiti, because we get, Haiti's sad right now, but guys, I think this is a transient spot for them. They're not staying. We really need to go to Florida. Give us food. Let us go to Florida. That is it.
The Haitians complain about being hungry and were fed by residents of the Boston community.
Aww. Yeah, that's when our niceness come to the forefront. Feed the hungry. But the Haitians are really fleeing. It's so sad. Right? Since the revolution that they won against France and they've claimed their independence, is almost like they've never really truly been settled. And it's just sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
The government has to be held to account. We need an investigation into the operation that's taking place today, and that investigation must include the numbers of families that have been separated, including children who are now left without their parents.
All right, folks, so the government of Jamaica has denied asylum to the 37 Haitian migrants who arrived in Jamaica by boat in July last year. The Haitians were handed the rejection letters last Tuesday, February 27. Their attorney and founder of the Freedom Imaginaries human rights group, Melanie Alain, will be appealing the government's decision. The government of Jamaica, do they not have the right to decide who comes to the country, who stays in the country, and who doesn't stay in the country? Don't they have that right?
So, yes, but remember, every decision that any state organ takes must be in strict adherence with the Constitution and the rule of law, and with international law obligations. And those obligations are very clear when it comes to migrants seeking refuge at your shores.
And some of the reasons given is because we think some of these people who come in might not be the kind of person, the kind of people we want in our country. Is that a good argument or no?
Well, every country across the world will have to make decisions in times of crisis and intense and complex security issues. In Jamaica, we're saying that, Haitians are coming to Jamaica and there's this concern about drugs for guns. But at the same time, every decision and every action must be in compliance with the Constitution. It must be in accordance with the rule of law. And so while I understand the security concerns, we have a Constitution and we have international law, and all actions of the state must comply with those laws. And so asylum in Jamaica is governed by a refugee policy, a 2009 refugee policy, and that is grounded in the convention, the Refugee Convention. And what it says is that, persons who are fleeing persecution have a right to seek asylum. And one of the most fundamental obligations is the prohibition of what you call refoulement. And that is when you send someone back to a place where they could face persecution.
So what were they told by the government? What were they told why the government is saying you have to go back to Haiti?
And they said, violence in Haiti is concentrated in Port-au-Prince, therefore there's no for your claim. And so already we see that there's an issue, because right now we have UN bodies saying that violence in Haiti is intensifying and expanding. We have news reports, whether it's from CNN or human rights bodies like Human Rights Watch. We have so much information on what's happening in Haiti.
Or maybe even more than a suggestion that the Jamaican government, they are breaking laws by not accepting them. And if so, can you tell me one or two or what they're doing that you think is against the law?
Well, I've always been very clear in my articulation that, I consider the government to be violating international law, and that would be the Refugee Convention, which prohibits refoulement, which is the return of persons to a place where they could face persecution. I want to move now from international law to just bring it to our own constitution, because our constitution is also very clear. Our constitution sets out certain due process guarantees, which don't seek to establish a specific outcome in every case. What it wants to do is establish a process. And that's why we call it guarantees. And so we just so happen to believe that when you add the evidence of what's happening in Haiti with the legal requirements of asylum, you have an inevitable conclusion that you simply cannot return Haitians to Haiti. And this is exactly what the United Nations has said in its non-return advisories.
Allow me to play devil's advocate, but before I do, I hear you mentioning solutions, and I do suppose that based on what you've put forward, that some of those solutions to this issue will come through the due process to which the Haitians are entitled under international law, and we are also neighbors, really. But here's the devil's advocate question. Does this not open the door for, or open some kind of potential floodgate? Once let's say we get to the end of this due process and they are allowed to remain here as refugees, then aren't we now opening our shores to a flood, so to speak, of Haitians seeking, a means of escaping their situation?
One argument about opening up the floodgates. And so I have to ask myself, why is it that when we seek to establish protections for certain people, the floodgates argument comes up, but when we seek to establish protections for other people, it is a sterling example of, what the international community can do to protect human rights and all of these things. And so, we just have to be careful about what the real issue is. Is the issue our concern about floodgates, or is our concern about something else?
Yeah.